Good morning, Ian Quick, Millionaire by 15. Today's Monday, July 20th. One of the things I'd like to talk about today is accountability. Essentially, yesterday, Sunday, which was our family day, the day of, like it or not, sometimes business still crawls up a bit. And my wife was checking her finances, and she asked me a few questions about how I'm doing on my end. Of course, being show business right now in Corona world, it's not what it should be, clearly. And she just wanted to know because her funds are doing okay. Uh, and it's not that she's nosy by any means. We are usually very open to each other about what our finances are, having learned that mistake in the past of I'll handle it myself is really not um, is not good for your finances. It's not good for your relationship. So it's just a friendly checkup. And so, of course, I explained to her my situation the way it is now. Uh, Everything was quite all right. But it reminded me about how, when you are accountable to someone, it forces you to follow through on the tasks you set for yourself. She had asked if she could see the numbers, and the numbers were almost up to date, to be honest. With things being so slow, I got a little complacent in my bookkeeping, and it was actually behind by 2 weeks, which is not a huge deal. Um, but still, it wasn't up to date like I do on a weekly basis because there was not much going on. I figured, nah, I can wait. And I was not accountable to anyone for it. Normally, I'd be accountable to myself. You should always be accountable to yourself, but that doesn't mean you necessarily will, because when you're accountable to yourself, it's easy to fall into the trap of making excuses, finding reasons why you can't do things now, and so forth. But when you are accountable to someone else, you have deadlines. You have progress reports that are expected. And they're not going to listen to your excuses the way you will talk yourself into excuses. So my wife and I will be accountable to each other even more. We've always been to a certain extent. It's how we support each other, uh, but not something regular. And I think we should do this more regularly. What it breaks down to is you plan what you'll be accomplishing in the next determined period, say a week. And at your next meeting, you start by going over what you did the last week. Did you check off all the things you were supposed to? And if you didn't, why not? Now, sometimes circumstances are out of your hands, so there's not much you can do about it. You just, well, I didn't get around to this because so and so, and it's all right. Life happens, circumstances happen, you know. COVID happens, but it helps you sort out through legitimate reasons and excuses. Reasons are valid, excuses are not. If it's just I didn't get around to it, I was waiting for something that you really could have done yourself anyways. That's an excuse. And when you're accountable to someone, it forces you to look at your actions and to either fine tune your motivation, fine tune your technique. Um, Basically, it holds a mirror to yourself. I'm going to be honest, it's not always pretty. You have to take ownership of your failings as much as your successes. And for a lot of people, that's not pleasant. And nobody wants to admit that they're being lazy, or that they're not competent enough in a certain field or whatnot, or that they're just kidding themselves. It's hard. It's actually very hard to be honest with yourself, which is why being accountable to yourself only is often not practical, because it forces you to look at something that you don't necessarily want to admit. Whereas doing it to someone else, if even for the sheer fact that you don't want to be put in that position again, that might motivate you to do your tasks. Um, it is what it is, but it often works. Being accountable to someone works. Now, if you don't have anyone in your household you can be accountable to, there are professional coaches out there who will help you through things, and you need to be accountable to them. Um, about, I'd say about a year ago, our finances were in complete disarray. We were making money, but where was it all going? And we weren't organized. And I was quite resistant for the longest time about um, hiring a coach, a consultant to help us with this. It seemed like, you know, that's a lot of money to spend if we're actually trying to save money and earn money. I'm short sighted. And I procrastinated on this for years. I resisted for years till eventually things got to the point where I was like, no, we need help. And we did. And at first I thought it was very expensive. But you know what? In the following period, once we started working with her, there was a big turnaround. Uh, a, she forced us to be accountable to her because we had to have things ready by our next meeting. And if it wasn't ready, well, I was just throwing money out the door because we only had so many set meetings. And if we can't progress, well, I've just paid her thousands of dollars for no reason. So we got accountable. But she also organized us. And it's thanks to that accountability to her that we learned to organize our finances to the point when COVID-19 happened, we actually had money set aside and we were able to ride out this wave. Had it not been for that, um, right now, I don't know how we would have survived. Things would have been very, very difficult, very, very stressful. But instead, it was like, you know what? We've got money put aside. It was earmarked for something else, obviously. But nonetheless, we were able to ride this wave. And the only reason I accomplished that is because I was accountable to someone else. And I'm not afraid to admit it anymore. Find someone who will listen to you. And it doesn't have to be long. You know, depending on the number of tasks you have. I mean, it should be a 15, 30-minute meeting tops once a week. Um, just saying, oh, hi, I was supposed to do this. Go off your checklist. Yes, I did that. Great. I did that. Great. Oh, didn't finish this. Why? Okay. Legit circumstances or excuses. If they're excuses, snap out of it. Go back to what motivates you, what drives you. Reread your goals, your wants. Go over it again. And then when you're done your accountability meeting, go ahead. Do what you gotta do. It forces you to move. And that's my lecture for today. Let's talk gratitudes. I am grateful for once again another beautiful day. It was hot though those last couple of days, but I'm grateful for air conditioning. I'm grateful for the opportunities today brings. I am actually behind on my video editing, that stuff I shot a week ago, uh, which was part of the accountability with my wife. Part of it was legit reasons. I was redecorating her office while she was gone, so it was a scheduling issue, um, and also a software issue. Talk about that some other time. But this week, I'm grateful that I will have the time and the resources to do my editing and get back on track for my plans for August 1st. Hey, on that note, I'll see you guys tomorrow.